Ask What Wednesday because I was sending a very important email to about 15 different people on my team in Knoxville. Okay, so I have been flipping houses since 09 with mom and dad. I started flipping houses with mom and dad in 09. And one of the things, okay, so I've been doing this for 8 years. Yeah, 09 to 17 is 8 years. I started investing myself in 2012, December of 2012. But I bought my first house in July of 13. And then I started doing lease options in February of 14. I got my first lease option deal. Then we got our first apartment in March of 15, and I started coaching in 16, and now we're up to 2017. Okay, so I am cramming 8 years of various real estate experience. Oh, I forgot to invite an auctioneer. So over the last 8 years, I have been collecting a team to help me do my business, invest in properties in Knoxville so that I can go spend the week in Tampa if I want to, so that I can be buying houses, I can be managing houses, I can be flipping houses in Knoxville, Jefferson City, Morristown, wherever my honey hole is, while I am in California or in Tampa. Okay, a lot of gurus, a lot of coaches, a lot of mentors are going to tell you that you can spend 2 or 3 hours a week on your real estate business and still make 6 figures. Yeah, you can, but it might take you 8 years to get there. Might take you 3 years to get there. I'll tell you, when I started doing lease options, it was a lot faster to 6 figures than when I was flipping houses with mom and dad, because I was basically doing that pro bono. Okay, I was doing that just for experience. I wasn't getting paid when I was flipping houses with mom and dad. I was just learning. All right, so since 14, I hit 6 figures in 14 when I started doing lease options, and that's what I teach. Lease options, how to get 6 figures in a year with lease options. And that's another 6 figures. A lot of people that work with me are already either pushing 6 figures in their job, or they already clear 6 figures and they just want another 6 figures. Okay, that's who I help a lot. But anyway, I tell you all of that to tell you that I was late to Ask Wit Wednesday because I was writing a very important email to my team in Knoxville. All right, an email to my accountant, my attorneys, my handy guys, my electrician, my favorite codes inspectors, the king of flipping in Knoxville. I'm not even the queen of flipping in Knoxville, but I invited the queen of flipping in Knoxville. I invited the #1 broker in Tennessee, who also happens to be an investor, because the best agents I know are also investors. All right, the most successful brokers, agents, licensed real estate professionals are also investors. But I invited the best investors I know in Knoxville, and they don't have a license. All right, I invited the president of the Real Estate Investors Association in Knoxville. I've invited the biggest and best in Knoxville to come speak at Whitney's weekend workshop the first weekend in December. All right, so I was writing a very important email. I invited my insurance agent. I invited my bug guy. I've invited my sellers. I've invited my tenant buyers. I have let some of my tenant buyers know that people will be driving by that weekend, and I have 2 houses that we're going to go into that weekend of mine. Then I've found another house tour of projects, houses that are going to be pre-flip, middle flip, and post-flip. Okay, so I was late to Ask Wit Wednesday because I was writing a monster email and creating an amazing spreadsheet of speakers to come pour their knowledge, their years of experience into you. All right, so I apologize for being late, but I have a very good excuse. And if you come to Knoxville the first weekend in December, you're going to be able to meet the king of flipping, the queen of flipping in Knoxville, which is not me. I'm not the queen of flipping in Knoxville. The #1 broker in the state of Tennessee, who happens to be an investor, the #1 attorney, my #1 attorney, my #1 handyman, my plumber, my electrician. You're going to get to meet my insurance agent, my property manager for my apartments, my bug guy, the lady that takes all of my pictures, because pictures are important in real estate, right? I mean, if I took a picture of this kitchen with my phone and then Becca came in and took a picture of this kitchen with her camera, it would look like $1 million and mine would look like a shack. Okay, so I mean, I've invited so many awesome people, and they are hopefully right now going through the email that I sent them and picking a time spot to come and talk to you, to pour their knowledge into you. And it is going to be amazing. Get an iPhone and it'll take better pictures. Yeah, thanks, Lanice. And speaking of Lanice, I'm making my modeling debut with Lanice because Lanice is a serial entrepreneur and one of my BFFs, and she's invited me to model her new line of handbags. I don't know if I can say that out loud or not, but I'm excited about it. So I'm going to model for Lanice when I get back to Atlanta, because I have a team in Knoxville taking care of my properties and taking care of my stuff so that I can go and do whatever I need to, so that I can spend 2 or 3 hours a week in my real estate business and then spend the rest of my time doing whatever else I want to. And I will tell you that I was not able to do that in the first 30 days. It took me a solid 3 years to have my team built, to have 6 figures coming in on autopilot, and to have the freedom to go and do what I wanted to whenever I wanted to. But 3 years is all it took, guys. Not 30 years, not 40 years, not until I was 65, not until I won the lottery. It took 3 years to be able to start living this life. Okay? And I love my life. And I loved my life when I was getting started. I loved my life when I was working my tail off and having 10 houses under contract and living on my phone. I had that thing that you wear around your neck and you can just listen and go and talk and change and all of that. I loved my life then when it was crazy, but I really love my life now when it's not so crazy and I only need those 2 to 3 hours a week because I spent 2 to 3 years literally in the trenches fighting for it all day, every day. And I know you can do that too. It doesn't take 30 years. It doesn't take 40 years. Right, Janine? It only takes 2 to 3 years at 1 deal a month to get to the 2 to 3 hours in your real estate business every week. Okay? Lanice loves my life too. So when people tell you that it only takes 2 to 3 hours a week to make 6 figures, I'm living it. Okay? But it wasn't like that 3 years ago. It wasn't like that 8 years ago. But if you could see yourself in the future, 2 to 3 hours a week, making 6 figures a year or a month or whatever it is you want to do, you can make it happen, but you have to go through the building process too. Okay? So anyway,